Okay, so you guys sent in an actual comic book this time for this deep dive.
Right.
We're diving into 90s image comics with Kroll. Once a hero number one.
No.
And this ain't your typical superhero story.
Not even close. Image comics in the 90s.
Right.
It was all about pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And Troll definitely fits the bill there.
This issue, it throws subtlety right out the window.
It does.
And goes straight for just like extreme action.
Yep.
And a main character who's larger than life. Literally.
Yeah.
Ridiculously muscular, cigar-chomping, goggle-wearing force of nature.
Yeah.
Bartholomew J. Troll.
And he's got an ego to match those muscles.
Oh, yeah. This is a guy who thinks he single-handedly won a World War II.
Right.
And he's not shy about telling anyone.
Yeah.
So picture this. It's 1944, and Troll is coaching an all-female baseball team, the Tallahassee Daisies.
I like it.
Suddenly, he is whisked away to meet President Roosevelt himself.
Wow.
You'd think he'd be honored.
You would think.
But no,
Yeah.
Troll is actually annoyed that he has to leave his team.
Really?
Yeah, he grumbles about it the whole way to the White House.
Oh, no.
This is Bartholomew J. Troll,
Okay.
a guy who puts his love for baseball above a presidential summons.
It's hilarious, and it tells you everything you need to know about the character just in that first little bit.
Right.
He's brash, he's arrogant, he's completely out of touch with, well, pretty much everything.
Especially when you realize the president wants him to stop a Nazi atomic bomb plot.
Of course.
And the Nazi scientists behind it all.
Yeah.
Let's just say he's got a villainous name to match. Otto Weicker.
Oh, Weicker.
Weicker is like something straight out of a cheesy action movie.
Yeah.
Complete with a doomsday device that can carve into Mount Rushmore.
Why not?
And he's chosen Mount Rushmore for this evil experiment because of course he has.
Sure.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
While the comic revels in this over-the-top action and humor, there are these hints that Troll's constant boasting might be masking something a little bit deeper.
Right. It's like he's clinging to these supposed glory days.
Yeah.
Because he's not sure how he fits into the modern world anymore.
Right.
This becomes even more apparent when we meet his new teammate, Badrock.
Yeah. Badrock is like the polar opposite of Troll.
Okay.
He's this giant, super strong rock creature who's also kind of a grumpy teenager. And he is not impressed by Troll's war stories.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff probably.
In fact, when Troll is going on and on about his World War II exploits, Badrock straight up asks him, "How come I've never heard of you?"
Oh, snap.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's gotta sting. Even for a guy with an ego as big as Troll's.
And it's a turning point in the issue a little bit.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Troll's bravado falters just a little bit.
Yeah.
He brushes it off, of course.
Of course.
But you can tell that the question gets to him. It's like he's realizing that his old school heroism might not be as legendary as he wants to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, is Troll's confidence all an act?
Yeah. Is this just a guy who's desperately trying to stay relevant?
Yeah.
You know, in a world that's kind of passed him by?
That's passed him by.
It's a question that hangs over the entire issue.
Yeah.
And it's made even more intriguing by the fact that for all his bravado, Troll's powers aren't what you'd expect.
Right.
We see him punch through walls and walk away from explosions that would level a city block.
He goes toe-to-toe with Weicker's energy cannon at one point.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
But none of that seems central to, like, who Troll is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
His defining trait isn't like super strength or invulnerability.
Yeah.
It's his sheer, almost absurd resilience. It's like the comic is saying, yeah, the world has changed, but Troll keeps on ticking.
And it's like he's trying to outrun time itself by clinging to these like exaggerated tales of glory.
Absolutely. And that's where Troll, Once a Hero number one, really surprised me because while it's this bombastic, action-packed spectacle on the surface, it also works as this weird commentary on how we deal with change, with aging, with feeling left behind.
Which is something I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they haven't fought a Nazi scientist with a death ray.
Exactly. And the comic doesn't offer any easy answers.
Right.
It lets you enjoy the ride, the outrageous fight scenes, the ridiculous dialogue.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about Troll's motivations.
Right. Like, is he a hero?
Yeah.
Is he a washed-up has-been? Or just a guy trying to make sense of a world that doesn't quite understand him anymore?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the comic cleverly plays both sides. On the one hand, Troll is hilarious. He's got a quip for everything, even when he's like facing down a world-ending threat.
And you gotta love those goggles.
Oh, yeah. They complete the whole aesthetic.
They do.
But at the same time, he's arrogant, he's dismissive.
Right.
And he's so stuck in the past that it's almost painful.
It's that strange mix of qualities, though, that makes him so interesting.
Totally.
He's not your typical hero.
He's not your clear-cut villain.
Right.
He's complicated.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Troll, once a hero number one, such a fascinating product of its time.
Okay.
Yeah, Image Comics was known for pushing boundaries.
Right.
And this issue is no exception. It's a satirical take on the superhero genre.
Yeah.
While still delivering the action and the spectacle that readers expected.
It's like a funhouse mirror reflection of classic hero comics with elements of Captain America, Wolverine, even like Deadpool, all mashed together and cranked up to 11.
For sure.
But beneath all the muscle and the mayhem, there are these surprising glimpses of heart.
There are.
Particularly in his relationship with those Tallahassee daisies.
Yes.
You see a different side of him.
You do.
When he's with them, a protective, almost fatherly side that peeks through that gruff exterior. He wants them to succeed, to be the best that they can be.
It's a reminder that even the most over-the-top characters can have hidden depths.
But for now, we're left with Troll back in the present day.
Right.
Haunted by the past and trying to find his place in a world that's moved on without him.
This first issue really feels like the tip of the iceberg.
Totally.
Like we've met the players, we've established the tone, and now the real fun begins.
So where do we go from here? We've talked a lot about Troll, but what about the world he inhabits? We've been so focused on Troll himself, but what about the other characters in this crazy story?
We got Badrock, like we said, representing like that younger generation who's not quite as impressed with all the war stories.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff.
Right. And then you've got Otto Weicker.
Oh, yeah.
The quintessential mad scientist. You know, he's just a perfect example of how this comic just embraces the over-the-top action and humor.
It really does. And it reminds you that comics can be more than just explosions and fight scenes.
Absolutely. There's room for it all. And this issue, I think, is really a testament to the power of character. Troll is such a force of nature, even if his personality can be a little overwhelming at times.
For sure.
Yeah.
I can see why some readers might find him a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But there is something endearing about him, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At least he's entertaining.
Oh, he's a hoot. He's a hoot. I mean, come on. Who else would be called upon by the president himself to go on a mission and act like it's an inconvenience?
I know.
The gall of this guy.
It's those moments that make it so much fun.
Those moments of absurdity are what make this comic such a product of its time.
Okay.
You know, the 90s was an era of excess.
Yeah.
And this comic embraces that in every possible way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a cool, like, time capsule to look back and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Comic books have changed.
Yeah,
they have.
They've evolved.
Yeah, for sure. And it reminds us that they can be just plain fun.
Yeah.
It's not always about being deep or philosophical.
Right.
It's about a good story with interesting characters and plenty of action.
Yeah. And that brings us to, I think, a main takeaway from Troll. Once a hero number one,
Okay.
it's a wild ride.
It is.
A roller coaster of laughs, explosions. But it also sets the stage for what could be a really compelling exploration of this character who's trying to find his place in a world that has moved on without him.
We don't know where his story is going to go from here.
We don't.
But I have a feeling it's going to be a wild ride.
I think so, too. And if our listeners out there enjoy over-the-top action 90s nostalgia and characters who are as flawed as they are entertaining, I highly recommend checking out this comic for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not just about the action. It's about the humor, the heart.
Yeah.
Those little glimpses of humanity that we get.
In the most unlikely of places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey,
Yeah.
it's a good reminder, even the most outlandish characters can be more than meets the eye.
That's right.
Right? Maybe beneath all that bravado and muscle, there's a true hero just waiting to emerge.
Maybe so.
Maybe so. But until then,
Yeah.
we're just along for the ride with good old Bartholomew J. Troll.
And until next time.
Happy reading.